Hi Bookish elves, it's Tanya. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to talk about new releases of September 2019. And let me tell you, I'm so excited because there are so many wonderful books coming out. So let's jump right in. And the first book I wanted to talk about is The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. Everyone knows Margaret Atwood. She's everyone's beloved author, and she's finally coming out with her second installment in Handmaid's Tale stories. So I haven't read Handmaid's Tales, but I watched the series and I loved it. So now I really want to read the book, start reading the Testaments. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Also, I really want to read Elias Grace. One more book that is coming out in September is The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. And again, a renowned author, loved by everyone. This book is set in the end of the Second World War, and our two characters are brother and sister who had a very rich and influential parents, but eventually they got thrown out of their own house by their stepmother, and they're thrown out back to poverty, and they practically have just themselves to survive. I don't know more, but it sounds good. Also, I completely trust Anne Patchett because she is a very good author, and I really want to read this book as well. Another exciting book coming out in September, 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. And this book, I don't really know much about it. I just like the cover and I also know that it's a story about a girl who lives in this mansion, and she finds a mysterious book filled with stories which she's reading, and eventually she finds a story which is similar to her own, and she kind of understands that this book is somehow connected to her, and she just embarks on this journey of self-discovery and discovering how is she connected to this book. Sounds interesting. I really want to read. Also, it's a young adult historical fiction, so maybe it will help me to get into more young adult books, hopefully. I hope. Let's try. Another book is called Where the Light Enters by Sarah Donati, and this is a historical fiction mystery book about doctors. I love stories and movies and TV shows about doctors, so I honestly don't need to know more. But this is a story about a young woman who is a doctor, and she arrives to New York, and she works in New York. And so eventually from her husband, I believe, who is a detective, so she learns that one woman has disappeared and another woman was murdered. New York at this particular time is very dangerous for women, and the killer is on the loose, and so she has to protect her patients somehow because she also works with women. I personally just like books about New York. I don't know why. I've been to New York once in my life for like only a couple of hours, and for me it was just so crowded. I don't know, I guess it just was way too busy for me because I'm a small town girl. But like reading books about it is something I personally really enjoy. So for this reason, I also really want to read this book. Next book I wanted to talk to you about is The Magnolia Sword, The Ballad of Mulan by Sherry Thomas. So this is a retelling of the story of Mulan. Everyone likes Mulan. Mulan is actually one of my favorite Disney movies like ever. So that's why I want to pick up this book. Now normally I wouldn't pick a book written by like a foreign author who likes write about a different country, like in this case, for example, an American author who writes about China. Normally I wouldn't read such type of a book, but I feel like Mulan is, I just really like Mulan. I just really like the story and I want to read. Also, this story is quite well known, so I'm interested to know like how the author retold it. Sounds cool. I love Mulan, and that's why I want to read it. Next up I have another young adult historical fiction novel, which is The Harp of Kings by Juliet Marillia. And Juliet Marie is another author that I actually enjoy. She writes retellings of Irish myths, and in this particular story she talks about a brother and a sister who are traveling to become warriors, but in order to join these particular forces they need to join a competition, and so they're given this task to find an ancient harp, a symbol of kingship, and retrieve it and bring it back home. Because if this harp is not played on a coronation of a king, so then people will not accept this person as a king and they will revolt. So our main character is traveling to retrieve the harp. And yeah, historical fiction sounds interesting. I love it. Irish myths, like why not? So excited. Next book is very eerie and dark, and I am afraid of dark books, but still want to read it. So this book is called The Glass Woman by Caroline Lee. And so this is a story about this young woman whose parents died, and she eventually married herself off to a trader who just passes by her village. And so he brings her to his house in a remote village, and he forbids her from speaking to anybody in that village, and he just expects her to run the house and just keep the house in order, like while he is on his business. But eventually she is just alone. She feels very lonely. She starts hearing these sounds from the attic where she is forbidden to go. She's forbidden to go to her husband's room, and she's forbidden to go to the attic. But she hears these sounds. Also, there are the stories about her husband's previous wife who allegedly was murdered by him. Our character, she just doesn't know what to do. She's scared. Eventually she just goes to the village and asks people about her husband, and they do not tell anything good about him. So eventually her husband gets injured in an incident, and she is to choose what she's gonna do and how to find out what happened to his previous wife and who he is. So sounds eerie and dark, but interesting. I want to pick this up. Now I left the best for the last, and this is the book that I'm incredibly excited about. I definitely am going to find it and buy it and read it, and this book is called Lemony of the Distant Sea by Erin and Trada Kelly, and this is a middle grade novel. Actually, middle grade. I love middle grade books. They just always make me happy, and they just always brighten my mood. And like whenever I'm in a reading slump, I know that I can just read middle grade and I will be out of it again. So this book I really want to get, and I really want to read it. It is based on Filipino mythology, and it is just so cool. It's all I know about it, and it's all I need to know. It's basically somehow it reminds me a little bit about Moana. You know, this Disney movie Moana, when the girl goes, like, sets on a journey in the sea for her village. Kind of reminds me of that. I know nothing about Filipino mythology, and I love myths. I love reading books based on myths. So this is another one I'm extremely excited for, and I really want to read. Also, the cover is gorgeous, and I would just buy it just for the cover. And that is it, guys. Those were my most anticipated releases of September 2019. Let me know in the comments what releases are you most excited about, what books do you want to read in September, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.